Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector. And I'm back.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. We missed you, man.
I feel like it's been, it's been like, at least 2 weeks that I haven't been here. Because I haven't been here for 2 weeks.
I'd say that's exactly the amount of time you haven't
That is
been
exactly the amount of time. Well, I missed you guys. I mean, I was on vacation, so I didn't miss you that week. But I did miss you guys.
It's all good, man. You were doing your big chalk art pieces, right?
Yeah. Sometimes instead of doing things on site, we pre-do them on canvas and or vinyl, and then install them on site the day of. Right. Usually that's in the case of if it has to last more than a day or so, and we fear rain, which is every day here in South Florida, especially this time of year. And the other reason we do that is sometimes in this particular case, the project is. The project is 3 street paintings, and the activation is all on the same day. Well, clearly, I can't create, my business partner and I cannot create, 3 street paintings all in one day of that size and magnitude, all in 3D and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, we pre-paint them on sometimes canvas. In this case, we're doing vinyl, and then we'll go and actually install all 3 on that day, and so they all get activated that day.
Where are they being installed?
One is going to be in Delray in Old School Square.
Right.
One is going to be right over by the fountains in downtown West Palm, and one is going to be right across from the lighthouse in Jupiter.
That's awesome. You're just all over South Florida.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be it's a Palm Beach County initiative for Restaurant Week. Oh, okay. So I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe August 12th is the activation date. Right. So next week, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I can't wait. You sent me a picture of one of them. It looks awesome. It's badass.
Yeah. So we did one for the Miami Dolphins, and then for their training camp. Yeah. They have a new training facility, and then now we're doing these 3 for the restaurant week, and so cool. We've got 2 out of those 3 in the bag already done. So
that's great. And if anyone listening hasn't seen Hector's art, you can find it on Artist Diaz or Chalk Guys is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, Chalk Guys is what we're talking about right now, but I do my own stuff also at Artist Diaz. So
yeah, you should check it out. So this is our very first gear episode. It's very exciting.
Man, very excited about this.
Also happens to be our 20th episode, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So Excellent. It kind of adds up. And we have the absolute expert and guru and gear wizard Scott Gailor with us today.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
I wish we had the Scooby-Doo, man. We need a little box with buttons so we can introduce people and press the button and cheering and clapping.
We'll fix it in post.
We can add it in post, or like every Kiss live album.
Yeah, what? The audience laughing.
Yeah. So Scott, what you have brought what can only be described as a magnificent pedal board with us today.
Cyborg pedal board.
Yeah, could you just tell us all about it, starting at the beginning?
Okay. Couple things right out of the gate. This is a custom pedal board. That's the name of the company out of the UK. Chris made this very quickly and got it to me very quickly. So want a big shout out and say thank you to him for that, because that was huge to pull it off. And this is also their new series of the Extra Deep. So mostly when you see a top tier board, you only get the one row. This can accommodate multiple rows of pedals depending on what you're using. Right. I really wanted to make this kind of a flex board for this show, so I went kind of crazy with the bigger pedals. But personally, if I would build this board for everyday use, I would probably not have this on there, just because this is my main studio reverb.
Right.
I treat this as the desktop unit. But if I flip, you've got a top layer, and you can see the flip. Yeah, you can. Good. So on the top layer, I've got dual power supplies on there that grab everything. I've got a junction box. You can have more pedals underneath or other ways to add stuff. And this is bulletproof. Like, you can pack all this up. It's just shy of 50 pounds, so it's flyable.
Right.
Go pedal by pedal. Underneath the blue pedal is an MD200 from Boss. It's basically their modulation compilation pedal. H9 max, so the H9 is completely maxed out. It means it has every preset in it.
Do you mind if I just quickly jump in? With the power supplies that you have on there, is there any reason why you'd choose Eventide ones over any others?
They'll do 600 milliamp.
Right.
These need 500 each, and nobody else does it at the time that I got those. Since then, other people have. Also, too, with this board in particular and other boards I've had, the pedal power stuff, which I have I'm not even kidding. I have half a dozen pedal powers.
Right.
1,
Yeah,
2,
sure.
3s. I have, they're thick and they're heavy.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking about shaving weight. So one of those is about the equivalent weight of 2 of the Eventide.
Right.
And the pedal power, the Voodoo Labs, which I love, can't power these
right.
properly.
Interesting.
So that as the digital ages come to pedals, this pedal itself, the switcher, is power hungry. These are power hungry, and it's way worse to underpower a pedal than it is to overpower a pedal. If you underpower a pedal, it's going to constantly pull, and that's how you're going to smoke a pedal. If you overpower a pedal, I'm not talking 9 volt, 12 volt, 18 volt. I'm saying milliamp.
Yeah.
Right.
You can put 600 milliamp into a 500 milliamp pedal and not blow it up. And also the power supplies underneath can be 9, 12, or 18 volt via dip switches.
Right.
So I can have any combination. There's nothing I can't power with this board. I doubled it up just because I have 2. I didn't really need to do 2 power supplies, but why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not have 2?
And I wanted to push, honestly, this is probably the board I'm taking to Anaheim in January for the shows. So I kind of wanted to test the waters to see how much weight I could kind of squeeze in.
Right.
The only thing, and I apologize for the viewers and listeners, I didn't get a chance to wire the MIDI because, as I explained to the guys when I got here, the cables that I have for MIDI are the big full-size guitar-style cables. Yeah. And it was going to take up too much room, and I didn't want to sacrifice tones. So for right now, the new cables from Boss are coming that are adjustable, and they're super thin, and then you can change the angle of the head on the fly, and you don't have to solder anything.
That's cool.
And they'll be here, unfortunately, next week.
Right.
But at least, we can show off the flying faders on things.
Sure.
Which is just still absolutely killer.
It's super cool, yeah.
And go back to preset 4.
On a guitar pedal, that's awesomely cool.
When Joel was talking about this, we all kind of were like, what? Because, Chase Bliss stuff is already crazy, right? You've got 16 dip switches on the back. You have 6 knobs into a compact pedal. You have MIDI on the digital end, but analog everything else. All the circuits are analog. And this is crazy. Flying faders, big box.
Yeah.
And as you can see, there's already 2 of this pedal without giving too much away. There'll be more in this format, so it's going to be kind of cool. Boss DD500, it is the flagship of the Boss pedals in the first and the 500 series. At the time, it was the biggest and the best as far as Hertz 96 and 24. I don't think anything has topped that yet, and it really does everything. So if I just turn that on really quick and I go just to that, which is going to be 6. I've kind of got the Andy Timmons thing going on, which Andy took from Eric Johnson, who took from whoever. It's a dual pattern delay.
Yeah.
So if I was running stereo, this would ping differently.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of wobble on the end of it. So the longer delay has chorus on it. The single delay... So I have quarter notes and eighth note. The eighth note has wobble. The other doesn't. So you get this nice spread. And with an expression pedal, I can blend that in and out. And also, too, the way this pedal works is that will carry over. So when I go to my next... As soon as I turn it off, those delays will carry. The tails will carry. Okay. So which is really cool.
Yeah.
Eventide micro pitch, Eddie Van Halen pedal in a box. In my personal opinion, make sure I got the right one. No, that's the rotary. It's this one. It's just that nice. Let me not kill the volume there a little bit. Cool thing on this pedal while we're here, there's a red button up top, and that you're going to see 2 rows of writing. So everything on the .9 series. This is part of what they call the .9, not to be confused with the H9. They currently have a micro pitch. They have a black hole reverb, which was the first pedal, and then they have the ultra tap. All the same format size. Yeah. But each one of these buttons do multiple things. So when I hit that button, I can go to the black writing now and adjust that one knob.
Yeah.
So now I'm changing output level. But if I turn that off, then I'm changing mix.
Right. Okay.
Which is really cool, and it's one of the reasons why it's on the top and not on the bottom. Yeah. Because I do like having that function. Plus, I have 5 presets, so I can tap a preset, and now I have something different.
Yeah.
Another one. Yes, and that sound was programmed that way intentionally. Go back to the regular
That's
one.
awesome.
That's a big Eddie Van Halen spread. That. And I'm playing with very little gain for me on this. The amp is clean. All the gain is coming out of the Mark II, and it's purely on the overdrive setting. So
Coming out of this guy.
coming out of there. And so I can change my overdrive choices. Right, but if I want to add fuzz,
And that's the Benson pedal you were doing that with?
yep.
Okay.
Well, it's Chase Bliss and Benson and Chris Benson. The fuzz is Chris Benson.
Okay.
Right.
The overdrive and everything else. So it's a combination. Chase Bliss did the Brothers pedal. I don't know if you saw that one,
yeah.
which was a combination of a bunch of other stuff, and Chris was involved in that as well. This is the Brothers meets the Benson fuzz, or the Benson preamp, really,
Right.
and kind of meshed all in one. I honestly use these as more tabletop studio units than I do pedal board stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's something that I would use them for sure. I'm looking at it now and thinking that, like rather than messing around with kind of amp sims on the as a software, like some of the distorted and like overdriven tones coming out of that are beautiful.
You literally could take this, and I do it all the time. As I use a Apollo Twin Mark II or Mark III, doesn't matter. An Apollo Twin, 2-channel interface. I go straight out of this into that, and I go into the World of Sound. Is it World of Sound or Wall of Sound? I think it's World of Sound from 2 Notes Audio.
Right.
And I pick a couple cabinets, and I pick a power amp. I can change the tube amp settings on there. I'm running EL34s right now on the amp I'm playing through.
Okay.
You can do the same thing in World of Sound.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff I've been posting lately has either been that or the new Radial Hot Rod Deluxe
Right.
into into my DAW. Like nothing. No amps are being harmed at my house currently because I had a leak. So to take us off track for a minute, I had a leak in my studio.
Oh no, water leak.
Water leak.
Oh god.
And it was very close to basically my pedal collection. Oh, so I had to. One of the few other skills I have left is drywall. I was a really good drywall guy. So I got up there. We figured out what was wrong. $4,000 later, it's fixed. But I destroyed the room in the process, so I haven't put it back together. And then I was getting ready to do this. So it looks like hurricane season at Guitar Center, but if Guitar Center had really good gear locally.
Right.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh,
snap.
My bad. My bad, B. My bad. So as I was digging through stuff, there was other stuff I wanted to bring, but we can do this on other things. Like I have the Chase Bliss, the combination they just did with ZVEX, the Bliss Factory, which is amazing.
Right.
But the problem with sometimes, like, I don't want to put that pedal on a board.
Right.
It means too much to me. Joel gave it to me personally. There's like my TB2 from Boss. Like, there's certain pedals I'll love to bring and show you. But they're not getting Velcro put on them. They're not getting mounted like.
Yeah, I understand that. So sometimes when I'm putting things on a pedal board, I'm like, see ya, kind of a little bit, because they do get damaged a little bit over the time.
Well, I mean, look at this phaser.
Well, your pedal board, Ben, it's got every pedal on there has some sort of like duct tape something
I'm
or
holding
whatever.
all the knobs down with duct tape.
It's funny though. From 17 to 22, 23, when I was in Union Jack and we played up and down the East Coast, I had a plywood board, a little bit bigger than this, with 5 Boss pedals Velcro to it.
Yeah.
Not even the cables, the metal plugs that go between the pedals.
Yeah.
That people hate. I've never had a problem with, but that's a whole nother rig talk moment. But the no case, no gig bag,
right
underneath a van, in a bus, like that thing went around the U.S. hundreds of times. Never had a single problem with it. Pedals look like hell. I still own half the pedals.
Yeah.
I think we get too precious with these things, and I'm guilty of it by saying I'm not putting certain pedals on the board. But
I think part of it is, though, I mean, I have to believe that when you were in Union Jack and you had that plywood with those pedals that they weren't $700 and $800 pedals.
No, but those $700-800 pedals didn't exist then either.
Right. No. But
that's
but I guess that's my point though. Is it was a different time then. And so
I mean I had two $300 delay pedals on there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, these are still tools.
Yeah.
The only reason I guess I'm sentimental with the Fuzz Factory or the TB2, there's a connection to me. I'm with Boss. It's a very limited pedal. They were lucky enough to make sure that I could purchase one. I paid for it, internet. Okay, it wasn't given to me. I paid for the fucking pedal. Stop.
Right.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, anybody with Boss paid for the pedal. Just FYI.
Right.
Even the guys who get stuff comp, we all had to pay for the TB2 because it was a very limited edition. But it's a special moment that Yoshi got together with the Tonebender guys, and those pedals are going to stay at home and get used. They're not showcase pieces. I'm playing them, but I'm just not going to throw a pice of Velcro on them.
Sure.
And I don't even use Velcro now. I use 3M Dual Lock. Like, I have to take. I wish I would have brought it. I was planning on bringing it. I forgot. I have little crowbars that you get at like Home Depot, like the little metal ones. You have to come underneath and pry these. These don't come up.
Well, that's good. 3M. What did you say?
3M Dual Lock.
Oh,
so
nice.
soft side Velcro, and for the love of God, people, soft side Velcro down. Never the scratchy stuff on the board. Soft side Velcro always. Never the scratchy side. Okay.
Right.
And then 3M, and this stuff's going nowhere. Like, it's going to be if TSA wants to destroy the board, it's going to be a project. Okay, they're going to have work on their hands. And plus, too, like if you look at this, and I don't know if you can see, there it is. Like this, I took a piece of Dual Lock here just to hold this in place. That's not coming off. Like I'd have to legitimately get underneath there and pry the damn thing up. So it is, and that was John from Creation Pedal Boards who taught me that trick. The Dual Lock with the soft side, bulletproof. Never, ever going anywhere.
My pedals wiggle around like crazy. To be honest with you, the way that my pedal board is set up and the way I use it, I could just have it as a sealed box with like ins and outs because I don't touch it. There's one pedal I use on the whole board, and the rest of it
freeze pedal.
And the rest of it is just triggered for my guitar.
Everything else is triggered. Everything else is triggered with the little box that he has mounted to the guitar.
It's a weird thing, right? Because depending on the gig, depends on the board. And so when I go to Anaheim, I'm playing with Chris Poland, Jeff Loomis, and George Lynch. So that's going to be a heavy metal style board.
Right.
None of this stuff is going. It's going to be small, and it's going to be. I'll be playing through a Boss Next Tone Artist 2, so the new version of this.
Right.
And I'll have that rig set up different. This would be more for like when I was playing with Lauren. This would be atmospheric. So if I went into like let's do a big reverb thing. And so that's an H9 on a Leslie. That's the dual delay.
Yeah.
And that's the big plate reverb from the CXM.
That's luscious.
And dirt from this.
Could you do me a favor and play me a few different like overdrive just examples on this Benson pedal?
Let me get everything out of this. So this is purely just the Benson. Or the key. Now you got me calling it Benson.
Right.
This is just the Mark II. And I have it set up. So for the record, it is very... okay, cool. It is very not dirty. So the amp is clean. It's kind of run like a Marshall. So the preamp, the master volume is down, but the preamp is up, and it's 34s. So basically, this is my plexi. If I go through, so here you're selecting how you're doing this. Got a little more harmonic top end.
Yeah.
Right. Basically silicone.
Right.
So change the diode to silicone. Now I don't know how much that's going to pick up on YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
But you can hear in the room.
Yeah. It's denser.
It's got that overtone bite to it.
Yeah.
I can scroll through. I'll just go through presets. So each preset here, I love the flying faders. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So this is just a straight clean boost.
Right.
So if I was gonna take that with delay and reverb, single coil. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Take those off. Those tails will go for days. This is a little bit of bite.
Yeah.
It's germanium. Now you see how the red is in this. This is the germanium diode.
Right.
It's got that nice overtone to it. Now I can gate it.
Oh man.
That's crunchy.
Right, or take the gate off.
That was cool.
Yeah, that's
That's
crunchy.
crazy.
I like that.
Now this, if I remember correctly, yeah. So this is old school fuzz or single note fuzz. Almost octave. Matter of fact, let's do this. So that is phase 90 octave pedal and that. But if I just do the fuzz itself,
So all that compression coming from the pedal.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have no compressors on this board at all.
Right. Yeah.
I'd love me some compression, but don't need it with this setup.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Now this is kind of the smush gated fuzz. So I think your son was asking about smashing pumpkins earlier.
Yeah.
But you still get the clarity. Got to wet that up a little bit though. It's just
It's an interesting tone.
yeah. It's a lot of guys at Chase Bliss and Benson and those guys are definitely cats of the '90s. You know what I mean? Of that kind of shoegazer / grunge / emo kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of that. And again, more gated, more cut. But you can also change the Q setting, which is your mid range. So I can pick where I want to take my mid range. Go ahead, grab that mid range slider and just play with it.
Oh, that opens it right up.
Now let's change the Q on it one more time. Much narrower Q.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Big wide vibrato doesn't hurt. And standard preset, which is sorry Justin, that is a great big loud clean boost. It just ripped off whatever mic levels. Sorry, I just ruined whatever mic levels there was. But, this is my tapping kind of thing. So I've also knocked myself out of tune. Shock and awe. Again, we'll go delay and take a little bit of that mix out. But if I do like just a standard. It'll carry through, and if you hear, mute that so it doesn't kill everything, you've got the fade of the chorus or the wetness of the delay eating to the drench of the reverb, which really just starts to manipulate itself into nothingness, which is awesome.
And both of those are coming from the one single Boss delay pedal?
Yes.
Okay.
So the cool thing with the Boss delay pedal, and by the way, if you own the Boss delay pedal and you haven't updated, go please do that because you're missing out on great stuff. You can have dual delays across the board.
Right.
And in this case, there's a looper in here. Like for you, because I know you love the looper stuff and the other things and the freeze. There's a freeze setting in this.
Right.
Don't ask which one it is because I don't remember. But there's a freeze setting in it. There's a looper in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff, and I've had this since I got them right before they came out. So the show that they came out at, I got one.
Gotcha.
And I've not put it away since. Like it's been on every board since then because it does everything I need it to do in one delay.
Yeah.
And the modulation on the backside is just stupid good.
Yeah, it sounds like it's got a lot to offer on one pedal.
Yeah, I mean, the question usually comes next, well, why this and not a Strymon? You're a Boss guy. You got that because it's Boss. I don't see the $150 difference. That's what I don't see. I think side by side, if I played them both to you, neither one of you are going to be like, oh, yeah, I see $150 worth of difference.
Sure. Right, yeah.
Now, I'll make that argument with, say, an octave pedal. Like, I think this octave pedal kills the Pog. I don't think they're in the same category.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like the Pog. I own a Pog.
Well, I ended up, for my purposes, because I use an octave pedal when I do a duo with someone, I use it for the bass. And and I have the OC5 and I really like it, but I got the Electro Harmonics one that kind of models basses and it's a bit of a different approach.
Yep.
And that actually for me is better. And that's the first time I think I've ever taken something over a Boss.
But that's the beautiful thing is we're going to have somebody in the comments be like, well, just get a damn X-Effects. Look at all that.
Right.
Yeah, and I could buy an X-Effects for what's on this board.
Yeah.
But I don't like... Well, hold on, I don't want to piss anybody off. The X-Effects doesn't work for what I do.
Right.
The gain structures don't feel right to me. The delays and the compressions and all that are stellar. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But the gain, and to me, that's where my bread and butter's at, it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. So, and I like the textile thing that I can reach down and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not dodging menus and
there's something to
arrows
be said about analog old school stuff, man.
I cannot stand going through menus on things, and like I'm 100% knobs and levers.
I'll be completely honest, guys like you have paid my bills for a long time because guys will see this and be like, I want one, cool, and then I sell them to them when I used to work in a music store, and then he come back and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, cool, $150, I'll come set that bad boy up. And, and I mean, the cool thing with this, so you can see, hopefully you can see the lights on this. When the lights are blue, I'm literally just banging through presets. So this is just the two Chase Bliss pedals. This is the Chase Bliss pedal and the Boss MD200.
Yeah. Can you explain exactly what, just let's kind of start from the beginning with this thing. What's going on with that?
This is the Boss ES8. They make an ES8 and an ES5.
Yeah.
There's more differences than just the number 5 and 3. You're getting 8 banks, including a full stereo bank, and you're getting a volume pedal bank that you can either insert a volume pedal in, that just takes care of the whole rig, or do what I'm doing, which is the 4 cable method, which is my wet effects are going, with the exception of the phaser, are going into the loop.
Yeah.
And then my octave, phaser, and the automaton are going into the front of the amp from one junction box. So on the back side of that pedal board, on Ben's side, there's a box
right here
where Ben's pointing, close enough. If not, we'll edit in a photo. That junction box allows me... let me talk about the junction box. That one is a tip ring sleeve box or a tip sleeve box. So you can put in any combination. So that 5 jacks will allow me to put one cable loom on the fly to go. So the whole point of this is the top comes off, I plug the cables in, I'm ready to go, I've got my banks, and we're ready to go live.
Yeah.
We're ready in minutes. And
cool.
Kid Havoc did a lot of national stuff, Union Jack did a lot of national stuff. You don't have time on those shows to get cute. You're not putting stuff together and testing stuff.
Yeah.
And when the minute you're done, the whoever's running that stage is throwing you off.
I've been there, mate.
Yeah, throw the top on, bolt it, take the cable loom, I'm out. Done.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it. And that's what all this stuff is about. Like, I came home today, played with this for a few minutes, went, cool, I don't have to worry about it, and threw it in the car until I had to come here. It wasn't like, oh my God, is it going to work? No, I knew when I got in, I turned it on. So what the switcher does here is it gives me 129 banks. It might be more by now since the update. Way more than I'll ever... I'm an 8-bank guy at best. Like, I tend to never go past 8 banks. And 8 banks is a luxury. It's me being silly.
Is 129 the MIDI number?
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So that will give me 129 MIDI banks, and each bank will give me 8 loops. So it's pretty stupid.
Yeah. Okay.
So as I pedal through this, no pun intended, and that's just that.
Right.
That's the Eventide H9 set on a Leslie. 6 is everything's bypass. This is guitar straight and amp. Still sounds good on its own.
Yeah.
Now, if I go into a bank, like bank 1, and I step on memory or manual, now all 8 loops are active. So I can turn them all on and get silly. I don't know what this is going to sound like. Sorry, Justin. You can turn all 8 and get silly. Let me turn those off so I don't kill everybody. Or I can just have the 1. Or I can turn on delay. This is what I like about it. So if I'm playing my regular preset, right, I'm doing my thing, and I'm like, wow, you know what, that is just too wet for the room. I'm going to turn that off. And you know what, I don't like the delay. So then I go in the manual mode. I turn the delay off.
Yeah.
And it's all on the fly. There's no menu involved. Like, I'm done now.
Yeah, exactly.
And
perfect.
and now, okay, well, you just changed everything. Everything that was there, it goes right back unless I hit save.
Yeah.
So on the fly, this is the way to go. I mean, I was a kid who wanted the Bradshaw rig, right?
Yeah.
Bradshaw rigs then were $40,000 and $50,000.
Right.
What people were paying for houses. So yeah, that wasn't going to work. And the Voodoo Labs ground control came out with an affordable system, which is still like several $1,000s, but and I had that and that was great, but you still couldn't do this.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. That was what sold me. And when I made the switch, because I used rack gear up till 2009, I was a dinosaur. Like, I hung on to using an 8-space rack and a switcher because I wanted to do this. One button, one thing, because I wanted to put on a show. I wanted to run around. I didn't want to be the guy.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted
dancing on
I
the
wanted to
pedalboard.
put on a show. I wanted to be silly and have my hair down and run around and spin my guitar and slide and do all the dumb stuff that we do that is fun, right?
Yeah.
That makes this gig what it is. So having a single button, or Chris, my old tech, rest in peace, my brother, he could run the board on tight shows. On shows where I didn't have any stage, he knew the songs well enough. I didn't even have to have the board. He could just push the buttons. So
Yeah, that's great.
you know, that became kind of the thing, and this is a carryover of that.
Right.
You know, the rack was just getting things that looked like my pedals, but easier.
Yeah.
But not easier because the old digital sucked. But this to me is the best thing since sliced bread. The 5 version of this obviously is smaller. You don't get a stereo loop and you don't get a volume loop, so you have to sacrifice a loop if you want to use the 4-cable method.
Right.
The cool thing was having this volume loop, and unfortunately you're not going to be able to see this up close, but I can move these pedals around. These orders aren't static. So if I decide I want this into this into this, I just program it.
Yeah.
And then when I hit that program, it's there. A great example of that is the Eventide H9. There's a sound called Bottom Feeder, number 53. But it's a front of amp patch. There's no way to make that work unless it's front of amp. Right. So I would program that in. I would move that volume cursor over so that now the H9 is going to the front of the amp for that one particular sound, and it's saved. And that's why this is wired. Like, if you're at home looking at this, if like you're at home with your own scorecard and you're like, why is that? That doesn't make sense. The delay is after the reverb, and why is the phaser before the chord? This order has nothing to do with the banks.
Yeah.
This is 1, okay? 2 is underneath. 3 is that. 4, 5, I'm sorry, that's 2. Move everything at once. So 5 is that, 6 is the delay, and 7 is the verb.
Yeah.
So I could put them in any order. That doesn't really matter.
Sure.
You know?
And that's what makes it awesome. That's the the big game changer right there.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
plus, too,
absolutely amazing. You could be able to just change it around without actually physically changing it around.
Well, you've got a Marshall DSL in here. There's a Fender amp behind me, and I'm using a Boss Next Tone. I could get a couple tip ring sleeve cables, and now I can control channel changes on all those amps.
Right, yeah.
All of them at the same time if I really wanted to get stupid and really wanted to dive into CC messages and programming.
Wow.
So is it straight out of the box easy to use? No.
Right,
No,
okay.
not at all.
Sure.
But the ES5 is. The ES5 is kind of set up. Like, you don't have to jump through hoops. Like this, you need to even turn loops. Like, when I first took it out of the box, you know, I'm a guitar guy. I don't need to read instructions.
Sure.
And I'm like, it's not making any sound. I was like, yeah, you need to turn all the loops on. I was like, oh. So, there's a process to it. Software updates are pretty regular, although this one's a pain in the butt to update because it requires a MIDI dump to do it, but whatever. You can also edit, like I can edit this, I can edit that, I can edit that. I can edit both those pedals underneath all on my computer. So either via my phone or my laptop, I can go in. I can go in and do, the best thing about the ES8 is I can go in and do all those crazy pedal commands inside a computer screen, not on this little tiny thing if I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I wear glasses and they're progressives. I'm blind, so not having to do that makes it easier. And the fact that I can go, we talked about this earlier, what if the rig breaks? I've got my bank saved on my phone, so I just send that to whatever pedal. I mean, this is a Guitar Center pedal. I can go to Guitar Center and get this. Or Sam Ash or Sweetwater. Whatever town I'm in, more than likely I'm going to be able to find this if something goes tragically wrong, and I already have everything here. Same thing with the H9, same thing with the DD500. Not so much with the Chase Bliss stuff, but definitely the micro pitch and things like that.
What are the kind of, on the Chase Bliss stuff, what's the kind of amounts of, like, how available are the pedals?
Pre-pandemic, he kept on top of things.
Right.
And not that he's not keeping on top of things now. There was the big chip fire, the factory over in, somebody in the comment section will know, I think it was Osaka. They basically make all the chips for all these pedals.
Right.
Burnt to the ground.
Oh, my God.
And I don't mean like they had a fire. They burnt to the ground.
Good God.
So chips have been a problem for everybody.
Right.
And that's why things are limited and taking a long time. And
interesting.
They're staying on top of it and really, they bought both Keeley and Chase Bliss. Wow.
Yeah.
I never screwed that up before. Both got new factories this year. And they factories is the wrong word. New workplaces where they're building their pedals. And so I'm excited for both Robert and Joel because they're really trying to get, let's face it, Joel was 2 dudes or 3 dudes when I met him. It was him.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Zach.
you what size the teams were.
I mean, when I met him, it was him and Zach and Paul.
Right.
And they had 3 pedals. There's a great picture. I met him in Nashville. He had 3 pedals on a little tiny board. And I bought all 3 immediately. Like I was like,
wow.
These are ridiculous. I've got to have them.
Yeah.
And he's literally become a brother. And so
that's wonderful.
The stuff that he makes is just so he's changed, like there's guys who change the game in whether sports or music or whatever.
Yeah.
He's changed the game in pedal building.
Wow.
Hands down changed the game.
Yeah.
And that's not to take away from the Godfather Robert Keeley. I mean, I don't know, I'm going to nerd out for a minute.
Sure.
No boss.
That's what we're doing here.
If there's no boss, there's no nobody.
Yeah.
There's no Keeley, there's no Wampler, there's no Maris, they don't exist.
Yeah.
Boss took the compact pedal game, made it what it was. JHS started out modding Boss pedals. Keeley started modding Boss pedals.
Really?
Brian Wampler started modding Boss pedals. All these guys started their careers modding Boss pedals.
Right.
That was their gig. And then it evolved in these other things. Joel stepped out of college and went to work for ZVEX.
Right.
ZVEX also modded Boss pedals. Like,
right.
It all comes back to this.
Yeah.
And Robert was really the godfather of the classic mods. That's how I met him, was when he started making pedals. And he made the best compressor in the world to me, which is the simple little silver 2-knob, which was based on the old Ross compressor.
Yeah.
Great story. Mm-hmm. And Robert, if you see this, I apologize if I got it wrong. You got to understand, I'm a big geek when I'm with these guys. Like, I asked them so many questions. They must just be like, dude, my God, here, just take the pedal.
Are you okay?
Like, why are you talking? So, first time I got to really meet and talk with Robert, it's like, I have to understand how you started. He goes, simple. I looked up a pedal that I wanted, and they were super expensive because on the used market, and I thought, I'm an electrical engineer. I can build this.
Yeah.
And he took a Ross compressor. He's a big fan of Trey, I can't pronounce Trey from Fish. You all figure out the rest of it.
Yeah.
He took Trey used one, so he found a schematic online and built it. And wow, that's great. And that's the pedal. I don't have that one, but I have a version of that pedal, the early ones that are hand stamped. And it was just ridiculous. And then all these guys started building and doing more things and progressing. And now the homebrew guys, what I call them, and meant with respect, by the way. That's not a dig.
Sure.
There's so many great builders. Like if you watch that pedal movie, it's like for me, it's like watching all my friends, which is really cool.
Yeah. What's it called?
That pedal movie.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it.
Or the pedal
I have
movie.
never seen it.
Yeah, it's on everywhere.
Yeah,
I bought it
it's
for like $10.
yeah, it's
It's
streamed
Reverb.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Right.
Reverb put it together.
Oh, cool.
And you've got Josh telling, Josh Scott from JHS going deep in the story. They're talking to Robert. They're talking to Joel.
Oh, nice.
They talk to all the big players and all the small players and everybody in between. And I think for guitar players, especially who love creating sound sculptures, and this is the golden age, because this is 4 high-end reverbs that would cost you $10,000 in '78.
Yeah.
Sure, it's $800 or $900. It's $899. It's still not $10,000.
Sure,
Yeah, yeah.
sure,
And
sure.
it sounds every bit as good, if not better.
Well, yeah. I mean, earlier we were talking about, all the different banks, the programming, and even stuff that's, I mean, it comes across as simple, but I'm sure it's not simple at all. But, being able to interchange the order and just all that kind of stuff, like, 25, 30 years ago, I mean, hell, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, like a lot of this stuff was not available, or,
This is 2014.
that's what I'm saying. Like this stuff,
Right.
like a lot of this stuff, just the digital age, I mean, analog pedals have their place, and I still, there's a lot of analog pedals that I hold, close and dear, but the digital age has absolutely changed the game completely. Like you said, I mean, talking about how you have, all your presets and everything in your phone.
Yep.
And if this broke or this got lost or whatever, you just pick up another one and dump everything back in, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
there's probably 20 hours of programming into this delay of me programming presets and things that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'll never lose it.
Yeah.
Where,
That's great.
if I take a phaser, right? Ooh. Right, I take this phaser and I go like this. I can't save that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a one knob, so I know where it's at. But
Yeah.
like
Sure.
if I pull in something crazy, I can't save that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's advantages and disadvantages. I mean, last time I was here, I had my GT1000,
Yeah.
which has the brains of this in that format.
Yeah.
What's different is you also get all the effects, and they're not really that far apart in price, which is strange. Like the GT1000 is about $1,000. This is
Right.
about $750.
Okay.
So for $250 more, you get an expression pedal / wah pedal / volume pedal and all the effects. But whether you like the effects or not is the whole.
Well, and
thing.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I recall you saying that with that pedal that you were able to also, like, if there's a particular pedal or particular sound or particular patch of whatever that you like, you can literally find it online and download it or something.
There's a whole
just a whole
there's a
library
whole
of
community
just-
of
yeah.
that as well, of guys trading patches and sounds.
which is
and
amazing.
getting really crazy with it.
Yeah.
It's funny because we did stuff with Nina Strauss, which is the guitar player for Alice Cooper.
Right.
I did a clinic with her for Boss in Tampa. Tampa? I don't know, somewhere in the state of Florida.
Right.
Boss has Florida things, I get the call. So I got there and I brought my GT1000 because she was flying in, and I was like, just program in whatever you want, or you dump your sounds in. I'll just dump mine in later. She's like, no, I use stock sound number 3. Straight up.
great.
She didn't even, other than setting the level, she didn't mess with it. And
Yeah.
I walked her through some stuff that night or that day or whatever, because she had questions, because she was doing a clinic tour and the unit was still new
Yeah.
at that point. She used I believe a GT10 up to that point, whatever the precursor was, which I think is the 10. But she didn't even deep dive it. She didn't have to.
Yeah.
She was happy with it. I'm a pedal geek nerd person. I installed my own IRs. I was a guy who drove Mustangs forever that did every bolt-on part to the engine I could. Like, it's no different. I traded one set of bolt-on parts for another set of bolt-on parts. But the trick for this for me is just being able to, whatever's on my mind or my mood, I can create.
Yeah.
And I truly believe, whether it's the instrument itself or the pedal or the people around you. I think there's a song living in everything. There's
Right
something
on.
living
I
in
think that too.
everything.
Totally.
And if this inspires that riff or that song or that ideal, pile them all on.
Yeah, man.
Give them all to me.
That's it, because it's all creative tools at the end of the day, and it's that's
100%.
first and foremost the most important thing to remember with all this. You can like how shiny it is and etc. But I mean, making music out of it is the whole point, and I totally agree with that. Like if anytime I get a new guitar or if I just pick up someone's ukulele that's lying around or something, or I get a new pedal, and you just. It'll spark something, and then all of a sudden you're off to the races, and that,
That's been the toughest part for me with this whole COVID thing, because not doing trade shows means I don't get to play great players. Like at these trade shows, like to play with the guys like Alex Hutchins or Jeff Loomis or these cats or Chris Poland, for the love of God. And it's so inspiring because you're in awe, but you're taking that energy and you're trading and. You play something they like, or they play something you like, and then we're talking gear, and it's you come back almost euphoric.
Yeah, I get that,
and wanting to do more and more and more stuff.
And there's something about someone else playing something as well that it's like until you know how they do it, it's magic. You know what
100%.
I mean? And
100%.
you hear them doing it like that, and it just it kind of creates this sensation in you that's just very good for being creative. And I'll quite often hear someone do something and then try and do it, and I'll end up doing it my way, and it'll be a bit different, and then it'll sort of grow into me sort of writing something.
Well, a new piece of gear is also just hands down always an inspiring thing. You get a new pedal, a new whatever.
Absolutely.
I think it was I want to say it was Sons of a Tradesman that we had on here, and Andrew was talking about how they had gotten some I think he had gotten some new pedal or something, and brought it to band practice, and they wrote a song that night because the pedal had some cool stuff on it that they just exploring something new that they hadn't done before, and the pedal did some stuff, and they were like, it just sparked an idea, and next thing they knew they had a song by the end of practice.
Well, and the interesting too with that, so like you and I teach all day. That's our gig outside of playing. I'm not sure where I'm going with the second half of that, but we teach. We have an instrument in our hand all day.
Ben's also a stripper by day. You didn't know that.
By day too.
But unfortunately,
he's not good enough to work the night shift.
Like Tuesday afternoons.
He works the buffet day shift.
I have so many bad stories about pulling into a club and our hotel being next to a strip club and having our $1 buffet day stripper nightmares.
I tell you what, there's so many more strip clubs in the US than there are in England. When I moved here and I just kept driving past them in Florida, I was like, wow, you guys like your strip clubs.
Yeah, I was probably one of the only dudes who was just excited about them because of the $1 buffets. Like, you know how it is, man. You've got no money. Do you know what I mean? And oh God, I'm not. My wife will watch this. I'm not going down.
Yeah, we veered down the wrong.
Let's get back. So both you and I teach for a living. That's where we left off on that tangent.
My bad.
Well, when I come back home, so like for 2 weeks, I've been slowly putting this together. Because I screwed up and didn't realize I didn't have certain things that I needed and whatever. But every time I'd plug something in, part of the problem would be I'd be like,
playing around with it.
I would hear sounds and I would get excited, and then it's 2 a.m. and I've got shit to do. Like, come on, we've got to get this together. And it's just, again, I would pull out a plastic bin of pedals. Let's do this one. No, how about this one? No, let's play that one. And you got to play them anyways, even if you're not going to use them. I knew damn well I wasn't going to use that pedal, but let's play with it anyways. And there's that. And I was my TB2, like some new pedals came in. Two that I can't talk about yet, but like stuff came in, so I'm working through that, and it was just like, wow, okay. That I don't know, man. I just still enjoy it. There's
and I really like the fact that we gave you a reason to enjoy putting a pedal board together.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I called my boy Aaron at Boss a couple nights ago, freaked out because I couldn't get it to work.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And you got to understand, I charge people ridiculous sums of money to tech out boards.
Yeah.
And I've teched out boards. I'm not going to tell you who because it's NDAs and stuff.
Sure.
But I've done famous people's boards.
Yeah.
I've teched them out. I've helped them build them. I've helped them select a gear. Okay. I couldn't figure out my own board because I was so frustrated, and it was stupid. There's a mono stereo switch on here that if it's in stereo mode, it won't work in bypass.
Right.
Because it's looking for the stereo signal.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Ah.
The effects loop on this amp you can turn on and off.
Yeah.
I had it off.
Right.
So nothing was working.
Yeah.
And my boss guy Aaron was talking me off the ledge at 2 o'clock in the morning because it's like, I don't know, it's like 10 where he was at.
Yeah.
And then it clicked. Oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it was still.
It could be staring you in the face sometimes. You can't see it.
He said, "Okay, Scott. Step 1. Is it plugged in?"
But like if you pulled me up in 10 seconds and said, "Hey, troubleshoot this," and it's your board, no problem.
Sure.
I promise you, I'll get that sorted out by the time you hit the second verse.
Yeah.
But when it's your own, it's a different animal.
Yeah, well, I feel the same way in a lot of areas of music. Even when it comes to like recording my own music, sometimes I would prefer someone else to do it, just because I get so,
It's why I use Daniel and Patrick for my guys. Like I do the recording at my house, but I send it to them to tweak stuff. Daniel does the drums.
That's what we did with the No Name Scar Band album. Is we recorded it at my place, and we got Power Station to mix the drums, and then we had someone else master it.
I'll master somebody else's stuff, but I won't master my own.
Yeah.
And I just played on 3 different things a couple weeks ago. But one thing didn't get used because the guitar sound, whatever. Another thing I was really cool because it wasn't mine, and they were like, "Go nuts," and so I just gave them 10 tracks, and there was so much love that came back in that email. It was like, "Oh, okay, cool," and then I'm playing on a death metal thing, which I've never done. That's not my wheelhouse whatsoever.
Quite trendy at the moment, death metal.
I won't say who. Somebody famous in the death metal world, like, "Hey, do you want to play on a track?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." And all they sent me was drums.
Oh man, they're like, do the song.
Right.
And I was like, what? I emailed back. I was like, "Where's the rest of the stems?" They're like, no, that's it.
That's great.
I was like,
was it weird drums? Did you have to play along with like a strange time signature?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I'm like, "Okay, what do you want me to tune to?" Whatever. Like they gave me carte blanche. It's almost done.
That's pretty cool though. Nice thing to be offered.
Really cool. Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely. I don't know if it'll get used, but that's the other side of this. I play on tons of stuff. Some of it get used, some of it doesn't.
Yeah,
I get the check either way. You know what I mean? I don't take for anybody like who's thinking about doing that stuff. If you take that personally, get the check, and if they use it, great. If they don't, they don't. Like you can't get mad about that.
Well, that's something that it's a side of it that you talked about in your episode on the podcast before about professionalism, which is just it's doing it as a job. It's like whatever you give will be very high quality, will be on time, and it's down to them whether they use it or not. No one's going to get butthurt about it. It's just
No, when I was in Nashville not that long ago, I played on something fairly big, and it didn't get used.
Yeah.
I was glad to be in the room. I got to meet some cool people.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come out later.
That's like 100% what it's like working in the movie industry. I mean, in terms of where we're at with music, it's it's far better than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I always sound so sketchy that I won't tell people's names, but there's a respect level of things.
Oh, that's fine.
Fine,
like a therapist.
Yeah, well, it's not only that. Like you have these NDAs and these things that you get involved in. But like the Nashville thing was cool. I played on this thing and it was a hero and it was cool and it just didn't get chosen.
Right.
And I was just, I don't know, maybe it's the little kid in me or me still being naive thinking that this business isn't totally terrible. That I was just kind of glad to be there.
Yeah,
in
sure.
a way. And I still get blown away when I get a pedal in the mail.
Yeah.
Or I get somebody who calls up and says, "Hey, yeah, we can give you that thing."
Yeah.
I mean, that thing I just put out in the air on Facebook that I was just asking a question about. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I'm still, I don't know. I this stuff is still really cool to me. And, and strange in its own respect because I don't.
Yeah.
I think of that as being like John Mayer stuff or like Brad Paisley stuff. Like I'm not in those wheelhouses.
Well, so you definitely hit it like being someone who people respect their opinion when it comes to pedals. is a great position to be in for getting free pedals.
Oh, yeah. I was
I mean,
watching.
that's why it happens. Let's be honest.
I
Because people
literally-
care about your opinion.
Yeah, it's been cool. I mean, I was part of the beta team that did this.
Really?
I was part of the beta team. And what else on here that I baited? Actually, nothing else on here that I baited. I've beta tested a ton of pedals for people.
Cool.
That's a big part of what I do.
Yeah.
And also my favorite part, because it's like, A, can you break it? Or B, can you make it do something else? Or why won't this work? Or what does a player want out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah. You go through it looking for the kook in it that's going to make it a legendary pedal if there is one and stuff.
Well,
like
and
that.
the thing is too, like speed stuff. So like they'll give me an octave pedal or a synth or something. Not just Boss, anybody. Okay, you're a fast player. Can you trip up the tracking?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and 90% of the time I can. And
Right.
then it's like, okay, so what point does it not track? Like, what's the BPM? And
Interesting.
you know, it's some of it's super clinical.
Yeah.
Like I mean, Paul. I always pronounce Paul's last name. Paul from Chase Bliss, who's a dear friend. I was also a disaster area. The man has forgotten more about MIDI than I know,
Right.
and I know a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to understand, I'm not always the smartest guy in those rooms, and I love that. Like,
Yeah.
I took my wife to NAMM one year, and I was with a bunch of the big names. I was super quiet, which is not usual for me at those events, because
Right.
she's like, I was learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening, you know. They're fun, man.
So if you had to pick one pedal of this thing, which one would it be? I said,
Just one?
yep.
It's a tie, either the DD500 or the H9.
Right.
And the reason for that is I can get anything I need out of it. Like, these are amazing pedals,
Yeah.
but I can mimic anything else. You know what? I'd say the H9, because the H9, and that's kind of a cheat because it's got everything in it.
Right.
It's kind of a Swiss Army knife pedal.
Yeah.
But well, okay, let's take the H9 out of the mix. If I go with one, I'd go to the 500, because a good delay will fix a bad amp.
Sure. Yeah.
Nothing worse than a bad amp, and you can wet up a bad amp enough
Where it's
to
kind of
massage it where that you're not killing it too bad, and
Sure.
the sound guy can
fine.
kind of make all that work.
I love the idea of having a small board with these three on it along the top.
Daniel Steinhardt, that pedal show did something similar. He's
Right.
got an H9, these two. Instead of this delay, I think he has an Echo Rec,
Okay.
which is a very similar delay, but
Yeah.
different, more tape based,
Okay.
but not really tape. I mean,
Yeah.
because
The
there are
500
tape
has like the emulators in it though, right?
reverse emulators.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this is the dual delay. One side is analog, one side is digital. So the eighth
Right.
notes are digital, the quarter notes are analog.
Got it.
Like, you can program. I keep doing that. I'm sorry. As I said, I wasn't going to twist. You can program that to do anything. And
Yeah.
every Boss delay sound that ever existed, including the SD3000s, are in there.
Right.
Everything. The Taro Echo, the
Wow.
the DM2, the DM3, the DM8, the DM3T, I can't remember all the Boss Echoes. Whatever it is, they're in there. And
Yeah,
when they come
cool.
out with a new one, they put that one in there too, because it's all just software updates. That's got a USB standard 2.0 jack on the back, and you just update that via USB.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. So the 500 series and the 200 series uses a micro USB, 500 series uses a standard USB. The Eventide I can do with my phone, but you can do the Eventide with USB. You can do actually any of the Eventide. They come with the EDM, which is the Eventide Device Manager, so I can go in and see this on a big screen
Yeah.
and edit without having to switch through and save, and I could set in BPMs and everything else. So when this is MIDI'd up and I hit a patch, everything will change, and I can have it set to tap tempos. I can have it preset to, not only does this change, but then it changes whether I'm gated or not gated. Like, I can go crazy deep on this.
Yeah.
Or you can have it just be a switcher and
Right.
rearranging your pedals.
Yeah.
So how often, like the Boss delay pedal, for example, like you said, if they came out with some new features and updates and whatever, you could literally plug that in and download it and update the patch and et cetera. But at some point, are there features that they come out with that are, I guess, physical as opposed to software? So, like, I mean, I guess if you buy that pedal, theoretically, you can have it for a really long time and keep just updating and updating and updating. But how often do they come out with a physical new,
like a new chassis?
A new chassis, basically a new pedal that you can't just update yours to do that you have to buy the new pedal. Is this something that happens more often than not, or not really?
The example is the 500 series is 5 pedals. There's a looper, there's a delay, modulation pedal, a reverb pedal that is stunning,
right,
and a vocoder style unit. That was all duplicated with the 200 series. So the 200 series takes away a button, gives you most of the features. So for guys who wanted something smaller, and there's also a pedal that I love that's not on this board, which is the EQ version of the 200 series. So it's basically a Boss GE7 that you can program to death, which I use all the time. And then there's the looper that has the crazy drum machine and edits in it. So that's kind of the switch to that. A better example is to use the H9. The H9 is now maxed out, no pun intended. There's no new updates going to come to that. They might add in an algorithm here and there, but this pedal's kind of waiting to be upgraded. Like there'll be, I'm sure, I don't know, an H10 or H12 or who knows? Who knows how they're going to do that? But the .9 series is kind of carrying that load of giving you other options because you get 5 presets. And also for the guy that doesn't want to spend $800 or $700 or whatever it is, can get more of what they're focused on.
Yeah.
But, it used to be pretty, when I was in music retail, it was a 2-year window. Like Fender would come out with new line of guitars every 2 years, Gibson every 2 years, PRS every 2 years. Pedals, compact size pedals there was always something new on the horizon. Big box pedals or twin pedals, they have a longer shelf life.
Okay. Right, yeah.
And the 500 series they piecemealed that out. It was the delay, then the modulation, then the reverb, right? And then a loop, like different things came out.
There's no overdrive version of the 500.
There's an overdrive version of the 200.
Right.
Because you don't need, it was explained to me, because that was my question. Well, where's the 500 version of the overdrive?
Yeah. And
I knew about the 200 series. And they're like, it's going to come in the 200 instead because you don't need the footprint that you need with the 500.
Gotcha.
So there's a 200 series. It's yellow, typical Boss color pattern for that. And it has everything in it. It has a Klon style delay. It has a Klon style drive in it. Has the metal zone, the HM2, like everything is in there.
Yeah.
And it's gated. Right. So you could have a noise gate if you want that tight. If you're playing the chugga chugga stuff, you've already got that built in.
Yeah, that's great.
Great pedal. I actually use it quite a bit.
Yeah, you hear that, Justin? Justin likes his noise gate.
I'm telling you
that the chugga chugga.
Well, and it's really easy to program. And it's super sensitive. Like it knows it's got everything sorted out. So they didn't do the 500 in that just because of that. But that pedal does exist. But this is kind of like the Porsche version of that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not. Yes, I'm going to say this. I'm not in love with the fuzzes on the 200 series one.
Right.
Where the fuzz on this I think is fantastic. So
yeah.
But then we're talking about, do you like cilantro or do you like oregano? Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What if you like both?
So if you're sort of into like kind of like martially sounding kind of punk rocky sounding overdrives, this has got them on there too, right?
Absolutely. But if you want something smaller, so like, okay, let me state this for all the YouTube people. I bought the pedal. I have no connection to this company. They've given me nothing for free. Yes, they have started sharing my videos. I am not compensated whatsoever. I bought this pedal I'm about to talk about.
Right.
Now that that's out of the way. Origin Effects, Revival Drive, Hot Rod, Compact.
Right.
Hands down, the best Marshall in a box I've ever played.
Really cool.
Not even close. It's $400. It's not a cheap pedal.
Yeah.
But it's also not a cheap pedal. Like you feel this and it's like you're holding a Rolex. Like it's a meaty thing, and the knob, and it's gorgeous, and it's got a bias control. I mean, it's unworldly. I heard, YouTube does the drop, and you know the video drop, right?
Yeah.
The pedal comes out, 15 guys do it. I watch Tom Quayle. I watch Revere. There's a few guys that I watch.
Yeah.
And Revere played it, and I was like, oh shit, I got to get this. And then I saw $400, and I was like,
I know it's a lot.
I'm cheap.
It sounds cool though.
And I don't know anybody at that company. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy it. And I just bought it. I took my Sweetwater card out that I never used, and I went, pah!
Yeah, there you go.
And I haven't stopped playing. The only reason it's not on this board is it doesn't make sense with this. But matter of fact, that pedal through that amp on this EL34 setting is one of the best plexis you'll ever hear.
Right.
And I have control over the volume.
Yeah.
And it's not much bigger than a Boss pedal. It's a little bit bigger. But for you, same thing we were talking about. Go straight into your DAW. One of the videos they just shared of mine was me going into my DAW into 2 notes.
Yeah.
And that... Yeah. When you think about that, I gotta say this out loud because this is so... I've owned a Rockman. I've owned the Ibanez. Like every version of some sort of thing that's supposed to make you sound good without an amp, I've owned.
Yeah.
All of them. I'm not even kidding. The Jackson thing, like all of it.
Right.
It all sounded like crap to a point. Like no matter what you did, it wasn't where it needed to be. I even had the Boogie V-Twin. Like, and the V-Twin was the closest, but it still wasn't there.
Yeah.
But now the fact that you can take this, or you can take that compact pedal, or hell, you could even take a Boss Overdrive pedal, put it in your DAW, and now sculpt it with like a World of Sound plugin, or there's 100 apps. That's just the one that I used. So use whatever you want to use, and have a great tone. If I don't tell anybody, if I post that video from the Revival Drive thing and don't tell anybody there's a video of me playing, I'm in a Baby Yoda shirt and I'm playing along to a jam track.
Right.
That's the Revival Drive into the DAW.
Yeah.
That amazing tone is not my boogies.
Right.
And I love my boogies, but, I wanted to keep the dB level normal.
Yeah.
And I've gotten lazy. I don't want to hook up a lot of stuff.
Well, again,
the last thing I'd call you is there's the man sitting here like a wizard with his pen.
Right.
I'm lazy.
I'm lazy. Right. Yeah, but that's
No,
what's crazy.
you know what I mean?
With all the digital stuff, though, again, it's just the technology is there. I mean, you can pretty much have any amp you want and model any amp you want, any sound you want, any combination of anything you want with the right software. It's crazy.
It's kind of like just what approach do you take at this point, isn't it? It's all out there. You just got to figure out the way you want to do it.
Well, yeah, and there's also the fact of, there's a couple things. Finger tone is a big thing. Guys have to develop that. Let's turn you off. Hold on a second. That inherent,
Sure.
Where you're getting the sing in the note without having to have something on.
Yeah.
And you're getting those things to happen with your hands too. Like I think the biggest mistake, you can go buy all of this tomorrow and you're not going to sound like me.
Yeah.
And I can buy everything you have and I'm not going to sound like you.
Yeah.
There's no...
You don't want to sound like me.
No, but
you're in a band with me, mate.
The best and worst part about this is, and I learned this the hard way, is I sound like me no matter what. And there's things that I like. I love like the overdriven Boss thing that I think it's 3. I love that. Almost that organy kind of thing.
Yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
I just love that. But you take that, or the octave thing with the phase. I want that so badly. By the way, anybody listening to this, I want this built in a pedal. As a single pedal with a switch. I have ideas, call me. But like this. And since this is poly.
Yeah.
Can't tell if that's on or off. There it is.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Or add, let's jump out of that. Do that. And I think it's here. You know, taking the Boss version of that. Well, they're both Boss versions, but taking the overtone patch of the Boss with the octave and doing different things. And again, I love this. Everything I just did, I didn't change anything. Everything goes back to normal.
Yeah.
So then I can't buy this whole exact rig, and there's not like a Scott Gailor patch that I can put in there and make me sound just like
All
you,
of a
right?
sudden your beard goes boof.
Right,
No.
exactly. Beard
to
goes
say
poof,
my-
and I'm a virtuoso on the guitar.
My beard
Like
did
that.
grow back very quickly.
It did,
I was really afraid that.
I think you're just meant to have one. Your body knows that it's meant to be there.
You know what? And thank God I'm not like my brother with the crazy back hair sweater thing. Sorry, Joe. He's not gonna watch any of this. Let's be
You
blunt.
never know.
No, my sisters
This will be the
will.
one episode he listens to.
No, you know what? My sisters are great. I love my brother, but this is not his. Super supportive. Like if he'll go and cheer and rant and rave and talk about me, but it's just not. It's not his music. It's not his wheelhouse. Like there's
Sure.
nothing about it that's his thing. And I love him for it. You know, he's my. I got to get him to stop dressing like Charlie Sheen, but that's a whole nother conversation.
So listen, thank you so much for coming and talking about your amazing pedal board. It's been a lot of fun. It's been really
man.
cool.
Thank you for having me again.
We're gonna try to do this.
Yeah,
you know.
and if you're listening, and you like us doing very gear focused episodes or watching, please let us know. Please tell us in the comments or send us get in touch with us via any of the social media that we have.
Yeah.
And let us know if this is the kind of thing you'd like to see more of. Also, we're obviously trying to boost our YouTube subscriptions, so please like the video and subscribe to this video. We'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we're almost definitely going to get Scott back to talk about more of his gear, because this is only at the tip of the iceberg.
Well,
so.
you know what? I'll even put this out there for people that are listening and watching this. If you go to my Facebook page, there's a thing. There's a couple guitar-focused photo albums on my Facebook page. Hundreds of pedals. Pick a few. I'll bring them. Like
there
you
you go.
guys select the next build
Challenge accepted.
to a point. You know, like keep it within 5 or 6 things, and I can put stuff together, or we can talk about pedal order. It gets nerdy in a hurry, but
That's awesome.
like if I give anybody a takeaway from this, you don't need any of this stuff, but the stuff is hella fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not that much like, this is a reissue block logo. I don't care that it's not an original script logo.
Right.
I have an original script logo, Distortion Plus, but that's because I'm a Randy Rhoads fan and that was a cool thing to have.
Right.
But if I play Ain't Talking About Love with this, or I play with the Eddie version of the phaser, or I find a vintage script phaser, you're not going to hear that on your phone through YouTube. Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
I promise you that.
Yeah.
All right, let's clarify that as we can. So yeah, if you guys want to do that, look in the. I wish I could tell you what the photo albums are called, but as you click on the photo album, it's all pedals, so it's pretty easy to see what it is. And
Yeah,
that's
go and
awesome.
check
I
out
still
Scott's
own
pedals.
it. If it's on the page, I still own it. Like as soon as
cool.
I disown a pedal or I get rid of a pedal, which never happens, I get rid of it.
Yeah.
There's even stuff that hasn't made it up there yet, so it's possible that I have something, and we can either talk about switching systems, or we can build just a regular small board, or there's all sorts of stuff I have. I don't know. Tons
It's honestly
of stuff.
it's a great offer, Scott. And if you're out there and you're interested in pedals, you should take Scott up on it and go and check out his pedals and have him bring them on the show, and we can talk about them, because there's nothing we enjoy more than talking about gear on here. And primarily the show is interviewing musicians, but we'd definitely like to
But we're all
do more of
nerds.
these. Exactly. We'd definitely like to do more of these gear things. So please get in touch with just any of your ideas and comments about it, whether we should do one once a month. Just let us know.
And if you want, and if you're looking for a specific setup or anything like that, reach out to Scott.
Absolutely.
He'll be more than happy to put something together custom for you.
I do it all the time. Easiest way is scottgailorlessons@gmail.com.
Perfect.
And the lesson has an S on the end of it. I also own Lesson, but I can't get into it anymore. So it's Lessons.
lessons.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll put all that stuff in the show notes too, so everybody's got
Do you
access
teach
to all that
maths
stuff.
lessons?
Yeah, right. The other thing, I'll throw this out into the ether because then it may become the life. I mean, I work with so many of these companies. Maybe they'll want to sponsor an episode, and we'll talk all about a brand. Like this, like whatever.
Yeah, cool.
You know what I mean? I don't want to put it on Eventide. Like, now you got to do this. Like, whoever. Like,
Sure,
there's certain things we can do. But yeah, I'm open. Like, whatever you guys want to know, just ask.
Cool.
Well, this episode was brought to you by Handlebars Bar and Grill, and Handlebars is a biker bar in Tequesta. It is right on the border of Martin County and Palm Beach County on US 1, and it's a real cool spot. You can swing by on your bike. We have strictly motorcycle parking, like right outside the front of the bar, and then there's car parking on the sides, and we have live music there. We have a bike night on the second Thursday of every month, and that is from 6 to 9 p.m. And then we have music every Saturday afternoon, evening, and we're starting to push that a little bit later, and we have music on Sundays too, on Sunday afternoons.
Nice.
And it's really a
Food,
good time there.
Tons of beer on tap.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
The food's great. Burnsy does the food, and he's an interesting character. Come and meet Burnsy, the chef, and come and hang out with Jamie, who works behind the bar, and a whole host of Jupiter characters that you can only understand the vibe of there by coming to check it out. You should come swing by Handlebars Bar and Grill. Who knows, I might be there. You know, sometimes I'm up there helping out, and I play there quite a lot as well. I play there on like almost every other Sunday, but not quite.
So, I mean, as someone who used to ride, I think it's incredible that you guys have parking for the bikes. That's
so
cool.
It looks great too. They're all out front there, and I think one of the most fun things about the place is that you just get to see, you know, everyone brings out their interesting vehicles, and you get like rat rods there and all these cool choppers and stuff. Like the other day, this guy showed up in a chopper that was crazy looking, like a praying mantis, and the thing was colored almost like flesh color. I've never seen anything like it in my life. So yeah, you should come check out the place. It's
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a real part of Jupiter and Tequesta kind of local culture. You know, and I'm glad that we've managed to kind of keep it around and breathe a little bit of life back into the place.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a cool spot.
Yeah, man. So what's going on with the gigs this weekend then, Hector?
Well, this weekend we have Friday night. We're at Connolly's.
That's right.
It's kind of a last minute plug that we picked up there. They needed a band, and we stepped in, and
cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I always like playing there. So
yeah, it's good. So it's your home turf, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of.
Tarzan used to have their Christmas parties there.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, well,
it's a cool spot. Caitlin's cool over there. It's just, you know, it's just a cool spot. I just like going there. You know, Sons of a Tradesman, like that's their home away from home.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this weekend we're playing there on Friday. And incidentally, actually, I'm working with Caitlin right now to put together for September 18th an all original band night. So, yeah. So
that'll be fun.
I'll be talking to you.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, it should be cool. Should be cool. I mean, it won't be a ton of bands. You know, I'm thinking like 4 or 5 bands, but it should be fun.
Yeah,
should
excellent.
Be fun. And then Saturday, are you guys playing at Square Grouper Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday Square Grouper, and then
as a duo.
Yeah, Killbilly's playing from 3 to 6 p.m. Me and James in Jupiter, and then in the evening. There's all sorts going on. Why don't you tell us about that?
In the evening, there is all sorts of craziness from us. So in the evening, there are no Killbillies gigs. However, my other band, Euphoria, that Justin's a part of, and James, who's in Killbillies with us, is a part of, we're going to be playing a show, doing a set over at Swampgrass Willie's, along with James's other band, Butch and the Fat Dubes, and another band, I believe they're called Fall Victim. Yeah. So we'll all be playing that show, and simultaneously, in fact, I'm going to try to do our show and then race over really fast. At Propaganda, your other band, the No Name Scott Band, is doing your CD release party with,
that's right.
With tons of other
we have
other bands.
The Muggles and Neverless and Krista Makes from Less Than Jake.
Yeah.
So,
and Hijas de la Muerte too, no? Are they playing?
Oh, he had Justin Muerte. That's right.
Yeah,
that was
he
right,
has the Muerte playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
well,
I mean, how many bands is Justin in at this point? I mean, my God.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Justin Giannoutzos. He's just in so many acts.
Remember Justin Thought?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I used to fuck with him on that so bad.
He's a
love
good
that
lad. And by the way, I think he's labouring under the misapprehension that I can't pronounce his last name. Giannoutzos. There you go.
Oh, I can't. sorry, brother. You just Justin me. I can't. Straight up.
And then Sunday, are you playing? You're not playing Handlebars Sunday.
Sunday, I'm playing from 11 to 3. I'm playing the Palm Beach Sailing Club.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's a members only place. I'm not 100% sure, but it's in West Palm Beach. So if you're a member of the Palm Beach Sailing Club, you should come swing by and have some brunch and watch me play.
Yeah. And Scott, your trio is doing a live stream right here at Live Music Community, August 22nd, I believe.
22nd or 24th. It's Sunday.
24th. It's a Sunday. I'll look right now.
And the reason I'm bad with that is we haven't actually had a rehearsal because of COVID.
August
in 2
22nd.
months.
It's a Sunday. Yeah.
Our first big rehearsal is Friday. Like
Okay.
we booked 4 hours out of the place instead of our normal warehouse because people got sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my guys have kids, and there's all sorts of stuff. So we got together for a quick one-off rehearsal not that long ago. We were still okay.
I have the feeling that you're the kind of guy that can step back in and play and not have a whole lot of problem.
No, I mean, and I feel bad for my guys because I am a pain in the ass. Like if anybody who's played in a band will tell you I'm a pain in the ass, but I just want the best show.
Sure.
I just want it to be good. Like, and I don't care about mistakes. That's not what I'm talking about. I just want us to have it so you're not thinking about it. Like what we're doing now, we're not thinking about this. We're just doing this. Like, there's no. That's what I want it to feel like. So I'm pretty excited. Matter of fact, we're debuting a new song here, which is
Cool.
I don't do a whole lot of neoclassical stuff. That's not really my thing. And this has got that kind of power metal neoclassical vibe to it, which is something different. So that will be a new thing here that we're going to properly record, of course, but we're going to debut it here.
Cool.
Nice.
Lots of tapping and stuff, I imagine.
Yeah.
And that one, no.
Oh,
a lot of like
Okay.
yeah, that doesn't necessarily work with that kind of stuff. A lot of staccato. You know what? Okay, quick backstory, because we could do this all night if we're not careful. I wrote this song, the bulk of this song when I was 16. It was my live guitar solo for like 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And when I rehearsal, I just threw it out. And they picked up on it really quick. And I was like, oh, holy shit, okay. And then we added stuff, and we it's not the same song anymore, but it's kind of my nod to kind of Yngwie Jakey Lee things. Cool. And there's an arpeggio section, and that's very much a nod to the Bark of the Moon. So before anybody goes, oh, it's Bark of the Moon, I know. Okay, it's on purpose.
That's great. I tell you what, I can't wait to watch it. And we've had a wonderful time doing this, and we should definitely get together and do it again, mate.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Take it easy. It's always
Absolutely.
a pleasure.
This is my my new home.
Yeah,
I love coming here, and
shooting the shit.
That's it, man.
That's what we
For
do.
anybody who wonders what NAMM's like, this is NAMM, but with no volume. This is literally what I do at trade shows, except I'm doing a lot more playing.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So there you go.
That's
Well,
actually
thank you
high
again.
praise.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Next
See you
time,
later.
guys.